Good evening, free enterprise fans, and welcome to this game two between ZoeVermilion and Dragus Cloud. I am Baka Shinobi, and I am joined by Dijon Ketchup. How are you doing, Keith? Dijon?
I'm doing all right. I am doing okay.
Zoe seems to be expressing some level of apprehension to these names, perhaps, or maybe just reference I'm not entirely familiar with. But those are some names that Zoe has for her characters, while Dragus Cloud is just sitting on the menu showing off the objectives we have.
Zoe might be doing her best impression of Jeff Goldblum in The Lost World.
That would explain why I don't get that reference. So with that said, we do have this is game two, but because Dragus Cloud came into this set of three with a one game advantage thanks to having a better and stronger record than ZoeVermilion, Dragus Cloud already had one wing, so this is the last match of this set. Zoe did go and manage to take a win in the first round. Brutal start in their seed as well, so both these runners might just be hoping for something a bit nicer than what they started with last time.
Yeah, last night was one heck of a seed. If you hadn't seen it, I recommend seeing it. But after this one, because this one's now.
I agree. Yeah, so definitely want to go and see the lead up to the story here, but the story here is going to be a very interesting one tonight. As we do have our 5 objectives, where we have the 3 base objectives, which are forge the legend sword with the adamant in Kukola's forge, complete Cave Magnus, and trade away the pink tail. Then we have our 2 random boss or character objectives, and we have get Baigen and get Tella, or excuse me, defeat Baigen and get Tella.
Also, the the joke objectives. Cinco de Mayo. There are 5 Mayos. I get it. I get it. They're not as
I eat
fancy
mayonnaise.
as Dijon ketchup, though.
No, I'll eat mayonnaise, but I also know what goes into mayonnaise. I realize I probably shouldn't eat mayonnaise.
Listen, I know what goes into hot dogs. I still eat those.
Oh yeah, I'm impressed as to how many different types of lipids go into mayonnaise, let's just say. But I don't none of our runners are sitting on the starting character, so I'm not certain who their first character is, but if we have a Tella start, that means that we will still need to go and find another Tella, and that Tella will be a blank that we have to find because we have no duplicates on. In
Yeah.
addition,
So no one wants to tell us anyway. So
yeah, Tella's a great character, very good for a number of things. Anchoring after ordeals gets all those great spells, but two Tellas doesn't quite do the same function as one Tella and a party of 4 other good characters. But with this bracket phase, we have gone and shifted a few things. As in Swiss, you would forge the adamantine legend to get an X-Scale. They just have classic forge on now, so the X-Scale has been moved into the key item pool, and we do see that we have a Porum for our starting character. I kind of like Tella better.
yeah, it depends, I guess.
We'll see who our runners get for a second, because we're starting now.
I'm seeing double here. 4 Yangs.
The army of Yangs are descending from Baron. One is in charge, the other one is sent out into the field. But that Porum Young team is... You're not going to be able to do a lot of damage early on. You might be able to find a power staff for Porum. Heroin Robe would definitely go and solve early damage, but Porum is not going to get any better, really, when she gets that Heroin Robe. She's going to stay about the same power for a long time.
Well, she makes for a decent white mage if you don't have Rosa anywhere, though.
That, she will certainly do the job of a white mage, though. When it comes to this Romus fight, I do have my apprehensions about her because her HP growth is very, very weak compared to Rosa or most other characters in this game. But our runners starting with the starting kits have been changed so that you do not get money from selling items, and you can't find money in chest, but you do have a starting amount of gold, and 73,000 is on the high end.
Dragus Cloud, less than a minute in, has a curse ring.
And ZoeVermilion has the information of where Tella is in the seed, so Objective 5 is on the table as soon as we get through that Leviathan and second fight in Baron Inn. Dragus Cloud, I believe, has also found a couple J items, so might be able to go and get through some early fights on the back of that, maybe going to Hobbs to see if they can pick up a character who can use melee weapons while ZoeVermilion is choosing to loot Castle Eblin.
You can find some good stuff here, although something tells me that V's not going to be taking on the trap chest at the moment.
No, part of the T Pro that we're on, which is down from the T Wildish, is weighted locations are still the same, but T Wildish bumps up all the loot by a tier pretty much, so you're not going to find good stuff in many places, and with that Cell Zero, anything that's not good loot turns into just sparse with extra steps. But while Zoe is going and checking Castle Eblin, going and saving after hitting the first tower, not hitting a trap chest, Dragus has looted the front and back of Watery Pass, picked up some good items, and is now going to Damsien and doing some looting there.
Nice silk web.
Silk Web can definitely, you always like to have a Silk Web for the Zermus fight. Also just a good piece of, there are some hard fights you can have that are made much more manageable with a Silk Web.
Yeah, definitely very underrated item sometimes.
It is, it has been crucial to some early victories for me on some rude hook routes. And ZoeVermilion did loot both the west tower and the middle tower, finding no trap chest, and is deciding 3 trap chests in the last tower, we'll just leave here. Meanwhile, Dragus is going and unmooring the hovercraft, just getting that out, and looks to be heading over to Mount Hobbs. Definitely, I would be interested in another character, while Zoe is going and checking the mist shop to see if there's any interesting pieces of equipment to go and purchase.
Dragus getting rid of that Charm Claw that Yang started with.
That Charm Claw, the only of Yang's claws that has no additional accuracy. The other claws go and give 30%. The Cat Claw, I believe, brings Yang's accuracy up to the maximum, making it a very nice piece of equipment to find.
Oh, we now don't gotta fight Rubicon. He is in the mist cave.
Today is not leg day, it seems, but we do see a Rosa on Mount Hobbs, which I like Rosa over Porum, but it's also not a great DPS character early on.
Immediately obsoletes Porum. Still doesn't help much at the moment.
No, and we see Plague here. This is going to be a rather tricky fight to get through, as Plague is going to go and not actually hurt your characters, just going to go and put count on them. But if you don't have a way of killing Plague before that count hits 0, or killing your own characters and reviving them, you're in a kind of sticky situation.
Yeah, between the low early levels and the not very damage heavy party, that Plague is living up to its name.
And Dragus just leaving it and going to Antlion Cave, not going back into it with a different strategy, makes a lot of sense, because you don't have any great options for dealing with it. Maybe if you find some good arrows and have, I believe Dragus Cloud found a samurai bow, which would potentially help, as Plague being a flying type will take quadruple damage, still could be pretty slow. But Zoe is skipping the water pass, so will not find the curse ring that Dragus Cloud did. Did purchase a couple exits in Kaipo, which will be somewhat helpful in this Antlion Cave, as you can simply, well, use the exit to leave. It is a rather long walk to get out of this cave otherwise. And Dragus discovering that Cell Zero was hitting Antlion Cave pretty hard, just not getting too many items. Did get a long blade I saw, but not much else.
Oh, that's a D-mist. That's pretty good.
That's not going to go and that's not going to wipe you like Plague is, but it is going to be a little slow to get through. As this spot has about 1,000 HP, and we're doing about 120, 170-ish with this round, so we'll take a little bit, but we'll be okay. Porum is unfortunately doing some unfortunately inconsistent damage.
Yeah, and there it goes, turning into mist, wasting more and more ticks.
Yep, we've got it was here so soon, and yet we already missed it. You know, Zoe is going and putting the samurai bow and Medusa arrows on Porum, going and getting Porum geared up a bit, but doesn't really seem to have a lot else going on. Has a ninja hat and I believe a karate shirt for Yang. I don't know if Zoe's going to be willing to take this plague fight either.
Yeah, Rosa's nice to have, but if you really want her, you can always come back for her later when you can kick Plague's butt.
Yeah, or those Medusa arrows, they do not have good attack power whatsoever. They are very, very weak. Zoe's just looking at her inventory and, throwing a kamikaze with Porum and lighting her up. That must be something that Zoe found in Ablin Castle that Dragus Cloud didn't have access to. That is a way to kill off a character and get them back into the fight right away. Meanwhile, going and switching over that samurai bow to Rosa.
Dragus Cloud got a spoon.
Not quite the key item you're hoping for from Antlion Cave, but we do have the second check from Demist, as on these flags. In the vanilla game, Edward in the Castle Toria will go and give you the Twin Harp when you go and reach that point. Because we have the Enterprise, we decided we want to go and keep that key item a little bit more hidden, so instead it's on Demist. Specifically, it's on Rosa's mother after you defeat Demist. So Dragus is going to go to Mist and check and find another potential key item.
Zoe wiping to the Plague despite her best efforts.
Plague is a really rude fight. That count is... It advances once per ATB tick, and you can do some anchoring shenanigans to avoid it, but it is not terribly fast. But Antlion Cave being quite required today, it looks like.
Definitely paying off. Now, in theory, not hard required, because, you could find Twin Harp and the Pink Tail and the Hook, and we already know where Tella is, and defeat Vigan, all before finding that Legend Sword.
Agreed, it is not guaranteed, but it is definitely helpful.
But that said, you're not going to pass it up either.
Yes. And that spoon is of less use than it was on the Swiss flags, because we have turned off the spoon flag, which allowed Edward to use the spoon. Now only Edge can use it as a one-time throwing weapon.
But I mean, who uses Edward anyway?
I mean, yeah, it's Edward is a rather... I mean, I take him in this party because Edward can use a dancing dagger, and that's more damage than this party's putting out at the moment.
Yeah.
Zoe using a vampire to go and get through this Demist fight much more quickly. And looks like Yang is in the center slot with some strength gear and doing a bit more damage than Dragus Cloud. And Dragus Cloud is back at this fight. Has a archer. No, going to go and put the power staff on Rosa.
So those exits that Zoe picked up are definitely paying off right here, saving that time that Dragus Cloud had to use to walk out of there.
Yes, this is definitely you really don't go and enjoy having to walk out of Antlion, so that exit's definitely helping out. Zoe is just behind this Mist Dragon check to get Ver Adamant, and Dragon's unfortunately taking another wipe, going back at Plague for a third try, and this is unfortunately an ugly fight to get through, as you just have so little damage.
Yeah.
We'll see where Zoe chooses to go, if Zoe chooses to push for this Rosa, or is just saying, I will need something else if I want to get through that, and is coming back to this Plague.
Yeah, he's going for it.
Is using the knowledge of the fight to take off the Samurai Bow from Porum to get that Samurai Bow on Rosa faster, it seems. Which
Yeah,
Dragus Cloud does not seem to have, as I'm guessing that Samurai Bow was from Evelyn, but Dragus Cloud is through Plague.
And Zoe's party summarizing how I feel most of the time.
Plague is interesting, where in certain anchoring situations you can go and be in very good shape. I'm just thinking, wow, this is free, but early on with no damage, no, this is very much so not free.
Yeah, no damage, no berserk.
Yeah, Porum will get Berserk at level 18, which is a good number of levels away for Porum. Also, this is the second time Dragus and Zoe have had a rather rude and painful start to their seeds in these brackets set.
Gosh.
I mean, I know the goal is to ramp up the difficulty with brackets, but Forerunners are not going and getting the best, not having the best time.
Scala, please nerf.
But Zoe is using a second kamikaze trying to go and push this fight, while Rosa is being the main damage. This fight is just really mean, while Dragus Cloud finding another mean fight. Ogopogo. Mercifully,
Yeah.
I think the 2 Wit Mages help. Sorry, I spoke over you.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah. Nope, Zoe gets that plague down.
So both runners having cleared that overworld. Zoe is up the loot of Eblin Castle, while Dragus Cloud is up the loot of the Watery Pass, and that Watery Pass held a curse ring, which might be very important.
Ogopogo could be an interesting boss to fight early, because normally you want Ogopogo in an easier spot, because that means it's not going to be in a harder spot.
Yes, it
but
is.
Like, its waves do percentage-based damage, like the one with the double wave does 50%, and the just single wave is 25%. And that's less health if you look at it from a standpoint of you have a lower max health.
Yep.
But it's also like still a big chunk of health. But also, like, as you're seeing, like Dragus using a Cure 1 and getting most of that health back.
The Cure staff being able to go and on use cast Cure 1 on the party could be relevant, as we may run out of MP in this war of attrition.
And it looks like Zoe stocked up on some life potions and mute bells, I think, in Kabul before going into the gauntlet, or the gauntlet spot, where, I guess this is kind of a gauntlet at this point.
It's a gauntlet of all the bosses you don't want to face with a team with minimal damage, that's for certain.
So we've seen reacting to seeing Ogopogo here.
Yeah, so his reaction is, what do I have in my inventory to help this? Not a thing. Alright, punch him, Yang. But Dragus Cloud is through that fight, has managed to go and grind their way through Ogopogo before Ogopogo eroded all of their HP.
Oh, that was a great reward.
You know, those Artemis arrows, they'll be great for Zoe because Zoe does go and
Yeah.
have a samurai bow. And dragon extra damage against dragons could be extremely relevant with this team. They will do quadruple damage against dragons, and we have several dragon bosses. Maybe we're gonna go get the full gauntlet of rude bosses and have to find Wyvern on the overworld, and yeah, that's a trip.
You got a bow, you got 2 white mages and a punch mage. I mean, Artemis arrows, maybe not the worst thing to have.
Definitely not the key item you're hoping for. Not like a darkness crystal to get you a Fasoya or an earth crystal to get you a treasury full of things that might help you.
Yeah, it's not progression.
Yes, it is, in the grand scheme of things, a rather minuscule boost to your power. But they can be a very big shift, as Dragus Cloud not finding anything great in Silvera. The bushes were a unicorn is probably the most noted item. Elven Bow could be very helpful for Dragus. Rosa does not have a weapon, and that would go and help out, as Zoe does have that samurai bow already.
And Zoe's right behind him checking those shops. So, I mean, this is still a pretty close match.
Yeah, this is... Zoe has made more checks, but I think Zoe is going to buy that elven... Yep, Zoe's bought that elven bow.
It's better than a samurai bow.
It's more accurate.
Sometimes.
The samurai bow does give 10 strength, which is pretty big at these early levels. But that elven bow, as you mentioned, probably better because it gives 5 wisdom and does quadruple damage against any mage.
And wisdom, pretty good right about now.
It's impressive how our runners are both going and sticking to the same route and just coming at about the same time.
We're already seeing both noodles.
Yeah, no more big wave bosses. We have the Keinazo, which cast a wave. Very different spell.
Yeah. That one's percentage based off of Keinazo's health.
And if Keinazo has a lot of health, that is a lot more percent of your HP.
Yeah. So if he's on the moon or something, that sucks.
On the moon or on the hook route. And we have Mom Bomb in the second spot.
Yeah, Mom Bomb gets a lot of extra health.
Yeah, Mom Bomb is going to go and take a bit to take down, as Yang is doing their best to do damage, doing a few hundred. Rosa doing 500 with a name command. The spot has about 4,000 HP base, but Rosa goes down to a punch. But as you said, Mom Bomb gets bonus HP to make sure Mom Bomb in the middle of the game gets to get their exploding script off.
Yeah, it's a fun time. So in a spot like this, not great.
Yeah, and it looks like everyone except for Rosa is down on Zoe's side, and that might be able to get this late push up. Nope. They're down.
This seed is rude.
The seed is throwing all of the rude bosses to the team that can't do any real material damage. We get the plague that it's a DPS race, and you really need to win it. You get Demist, who you want to pump out as much damage as possible between each mist, before Demist turns into mist for a while. We got Ogopogo, who, yeah, I might not do a lot of damage in this spot, but I'll do the big waves that'll just grind down your HP. And we get Mom Bomb in a punchy spot, who can just have oodles of extra HP, so you have to go through the script too.
Zoe checking Troya's shops, and yeah, I was thinking V might go back for those illusions. That would be very helpful to have in the Mom Bomb fight.
Yeah, they'll go and illusion cast Blink on the user, which nullifies 2 physical punches. Very important on certain punchy fights. Meanwhile, Dragus Cloud finds a Sorcerer Robe on Mount Ordeals. That's a very good piece of equipment. That is going to go and improve the survivability of the wearer significantly. And Zoe is going straight back into this Mount Ordeals while Dragus is finding Calbrina.
Yeah, that's, a great boss to find when you don't have any AoE. Better start kicking, Yang. Oh, actually, he's got a Boreas.
That is a kind mercy, because if you do not kill both types of ball, if you go and let one of the types of dolls live without the other, it will turn into the big doll, and that's not terribly fun.
Yep, and if you can't defeat it in enough time, it just starts the fight over, basically.
Yep.
Good times.
You know what? Sometimes you just need the doll grind. Oh, hey. Are we underground? Is it here? Are we underground to see the Mom Bomb?
I mean, theoretically, one can be here and one can be there.
Yes, allow me to go and rephrase. The logical path underground is through this Mom Bomb. So Dragus Cloud is probably going to enjoy having those fire arrows, because Golbez is weak to 2 things: holy damage and fire damage. Probably because when you're going and doing this fight with Cecil and Rydia in the middle of the game, Cecil's probably either going to have his starting legend sword or the fire sword you picked up from the Flame Dog chest in Tower of Zot.
Not to mention Rydia, learns fire early on.
Nope. And Dragus Cloud lost the 50-50 on that.
Just a casual 2,600 damage from Golbez.
Yeah, and just going straight back into that fight. That's there are a couple ways you can try and go and set this up. Like, you can go and kill off a character outside this fight so you know which 2 characters are going to survive. But the main thing you care about is getting a Star Veil up, and you're going to go and be playing 50-50 odds on that if you can't go and block that Paralyze.
I guess he thinks that he's got a better shot at Golbez than Mom Bomb?
Zoe is going and proving that thought a little wrong, maybe, as we do see the explosion script occurring on Zoe's side.
Does Zoe have any J items, though?
Yeah, that is going to be very important, as the explosion
there's some Thor Rages.
Yep, we do start with 10 Thor Rages. Mostly, in the event you have to deal with a Rude Kanazo, but shops can probably sell them, and most likely will. Just throw that out, and getting through 3 of the bombs, going to go and have to get through the gray bombs next. And Zoe is probably going to get an item that leads to the underworld.
That's not the one you want to see.
We both know this was coming, right? This needed a good hook, and we found it.
The hook brings you back. It's gonna go and give you the runaround.
We just gotta go and drag you in place. We did complete objective number 5 on Zoe's side. Zoe does go and have Tella, and has 1 objective down. Gets to go and take that hovercraft and see who is the character on the hook route. The generous side. Oh, we also have a rat tail to turn in too. So this rat tail could be a magma key, and we can go and have a nice, we can dodge the pain.
Or it could be a pink tail.
Pink tail would be fun. Pink tail into crystal sword would be great.
Or it can be that. To be great. If we had a Yang or a Kane, I can't words.
Look, we're staring at Yang going and looking at these weapons and wondering, why do people use these things? But yeah, that rat tail dashed the hopes of going and getting a magma key. There could still be one on Ordeals, as Dijon mentioned. It's only the logical path underground that's not blocked by Golbez, not any path underground.
And Zoe's not going to go for Ordeals, not even knowing what's there, because with Path Underground and no Cecil or, well, I guess D's got Tella.
Yeah. Oh, that's a
Oh.
stack shop. Sirens, Bacchus wines.
Yeah, you just stock up, just sell all the things you owe.
Yeah, sell Zero Strikes again. Cat Claws. 30,000 gold is a lot of money to spend, and I am not inclined to spend them right now. But
Yeah.
Dragus is through Golbez now. Reflected a bunch of damage back to Golbez, because when that Lit 3 does 2,600 damage, you know Golbez is going to go and do most of the work for you if you can get a Star Veil up. Still need to punch him.
Early game-ish spot doesn't have a lot of HP. So, a couple of those. Hi, Rydia. Hi, Ashura.
Zoe does have the Elven Bow. Elven Bow will do quadruple damage against Ashura. And
I think, did V get the Dancing Dagger?
I don't remember.
I think I remember seeing one of them pick it up. I think it was Zoe. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not ready yet. It's Sarah!
Zoe might go and be using Rydia as an anchor, because Rydia starts at 4 agility. That makes most everyone a relative agility 1. Meanwhile, Dragus Cloud finds D-Lunars in the Crystal Altar room, so not the worst boss to find here.
Also, the Bull had Sylph for sale.
That is true, but Zoe is checking the Sylph summon for free on Hobbs. Maybe we get a free shot here.
Yeah.
That's Indra. There are worse summons.
I mean, when you have a party that's not big on dealing damage and, you still got Odin out there.
Yeah, and Zoe is going up Mount Ordeals now. Don't know if Zoe has any other form of... Well, Zoe appears to be
there we go. Dancing
going
Dagger.
up Rydia. So I think Rydia is going to not be taking naps today.
At least not yet.
Meanwhile, Dragus side, Dragus got the Luca key from the top of Ordeals, so there is no other way underground except through that Ashura Ash Rubicon.
Dragus using a Siren to summon a couple of Liliths for some levels.
Looks to be... I mean, Dragus knows what's waiting for him at that Baron End spot, so... That... Dragus did not find the illusions in the shops that Zoe did, so is probably looking to just get the HP to tank punches better. And Zoe is throwing out some Thor Rages. One took out the front dolls. Might go in, because of how actions work, if the attack is queued, it's not going to go and immediately transition into the doll phase.
Oh.
But I do believe Rosa also has one queued up, and this will probably kill the last few Cals. So Zoe is making good use of the Thor Rages early on, but if we need those later for a Rude Kenazo, Zoe's going to need to find an alternate source of lightning.
Well, V does have Tella, and, Tella can get off a quick Lit 1, even without going through Mount Ordeals.
Yep, and discovering that Rydia has not quite learned Piggy yet. It is a rather early spell for Rydia, but not quite early enough. One of the things you can do is, if you, as we saw on Dragus' side, Golbez is going to immediately paralyze your entire team. However, paralyze doesn't work. Zoe is going to need to use this combat to mute her team, or mute her team. And that is going to go and be another way of dealing what I was suggesting, which is abusing the status priority system, where if you have one status, you cannot get a different status sometimes. So in this case, if you have mute, you can't get paralyzed. And if you can't get paralyzed and you have 3 people who are muted, you're guaranteed to have one person survive the fight and be able to get an action faster than if you have to wait for the heal. So you can go and throw up a Star Veil and more reliably get through the Golbez fight.
Then there's Rydia. She's dead.
Rydia made a great contribution, just saying, you know what, I don't want to go and see who the dragon eats. I'm willing to just take a nap for this one.
Also, did the mute miss Porum?
Porum, I think, has a rune ring.
Oh, okay, that would do it.
Yeah, I think mute will. We'll have to go and double check Porum's equipment. Porum has the sorcerer robe that was on Ordeals as well. And we are going and queuing up the Star Veils now, so that Golbez is going to say, well, we're done with that. Let's get into this next fight. And no need for Zoe to go and worry about a 50-50. You've already got the Star Veils up. We'll probably only take one more hit for this. This Rose is going to finish it off.
Yeah.
This Golbez cheats a little bit, has extra HP as well. But after you do a certain amount of damage, he's going to go and say, "Why are you hurting me so much? This isn't how this is supposed to go," and dissolves into nothing.
Game scripts.
The other part of the script is that Golbez steals part of the experience because that Shadow Dragon has experience attached to it, and takes some of it from the spot.
And you can't exactly kill it.
And speaking of not exactly killing it, Dragus Cloud unfortunately did not get through that Bomb fight after the explosion this time. Did get all the way through to the explosion phase, but did not go and get the spawn bombs down. Words are hard, sorry.
That's funny. Yeah, Dragus Cloud doesn't seem to be quite sure what to do exactly.
It's unfortunately going to be a rough fight because without illusions and the samurai bow that Zoe has a big advantage with that samurai bow because it is high attack power and plus 10 strength. So Zoe was using those Artemis arrows, just shooting them out no matter what, doing plenty of damage to those enemies, and it's just, getting through these de-lunars. We see that dragon weakness coming into play. 2,600 damage is massive. Might be far more than they had.
Like, this slot has like 600 base health.
That's 1,000.
It's 600 was the super cannon room. Sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong.
The wrong piddly health room. I don't blame you.
The wrong freebie room.
Yes. And either way, it's far below 2,600.
Yeah. And then I always forget about how the multiple targets thing mucks with it, because math is hard.
Math is always hard. You should never do math on stream. It's never worth it.
Math, not even once.
I mean, if you can crack the code of math, you can go and figure out agility anchoring and other agility shenanigans.
You don't need math, you just throw a curse ring on Tella, and there you go.
Fair enough. But
This
Zoe
may be
has...
why I have lost all my ladder matches so far, but look, it's irrelevant.
I've lost a number of my matches too. I also play a lot of Sea Hero where you don't get to choose your anchor.
Oh, yeah.
Zoe is choosing to take this opportunity to loot all of Ablin Cave on her way through this, while Dragus is continuing to go and push through this Baron Inn, as Dragus has no other option. There is no other way for there to be no other way to get underground, as Dragus has defeated Demist, cleared Antlion Cave, defended Fubul, and cleared Mount Ordeals. There are no other possible locations for key items for Dragus Cloud except for this Baron Inn. And you have to get through it, and this Bomb is being a real mean jerk.
Yeah, nowhere else to go unless you somehow discover a brand new glitch.
Discover that, you can force push P to jump to be on, and just jump through the hook route.
Just clip into the well and...
I mean, Sid survives the fall. How far can it be? And Zoe is
You have
using
two white mages.
Yeah, you just cast Levitate. Wait, no, that's a different game.
It's called Float.
Oh, I don't know if we have... Oh, no, we have Tella. We can float. And Zoe is choosing to just... There is a trap chest in this upper babble that is used for some very good experience if you choose to open chests, but Zoe is choosing to just run through this cave and get to that fight. Might be feeling behind because they took some wipes, they had to do some shopping, they had... This overworld has been incredibly great to, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that Zoe is in fact ahead because of being able to get through this Baron Inn fight. Oh, and Dragus Cloud has berserked both of his characters and Porum is down, so not going to have any option for healing.
This is free.
As long as you don't die. We do have the small issue that this spot punches hard. The Elven Bow will do extra damage to them, but there's 1,000 damage on Tella right away.
It's fine. There's a mute bell.
Mute does work on these guards because they do not have the boss bit. A number of other things work on these guards, like, Stone, but Tella's the only person who can cast that. For now, we just need to go and keep shooting these guards, and I think Rose is going to be able to do a fair amount of that.
Oh, that Indra is going to come in handy here.
Yep, and...
Or it's not.
I mean, they sensed danger was coming, so they decided to go and wait. Rose is probably going to go and get one or two extra shots off now. And Rosa goes down, so things are a little scary, because I think Rosa just... Yeah, Zoe is resetting because Rosa was about to lose her last Artemis arrow.
Well, Dragus finally gets his hook and Tella.
I'm not feeling great about how many attempts it took, but that's going to go and be a big help for Dragus. Just is going to go and have the option of getting Rydia and maybe taking some fights to get some experience. Zoe foregoing the experience and just running down this hook route, resetting up, putting a rune ring on Rosa, which will give mage resistance, and putting the Artemis bow on right away so that Rosa can just zerk up with her first turn. Excuse me, mute bell with her first turn. And Yang and Rydia have done their duty of being distractions for the other members of the team. And Tella is going and throwing a blink on Rosa. Blink probably going to be important because Rosa lost about half her HP in one punch. But the blink goes off and Rosa can go and survive one more punch, and yep, there's one of the guards down. The other one is probably going to struggle mightily to get Rosa down before Rosa finishes off the other guard.
And there we go.
So we have 2 mage fights on this hook route. If you do not have anti-mage equipment, you are in for a much more difficult time.
Well, Dragus just spent all his money on a 10 stack of sirens. Not a bad thing to have.
Got an art so you'll probably be able to go and grind those yellow dragon eggs underground pretty quickly. Just going to need to get underground, which I don't know if Dragus Cloud has the elven bow that Zoe is using. But Zoe is going into this Ashura fight, is choosing to forgo any additional grinding here to just run straight into this fight. Meanwhile, Dragus is going and getting Rydia, is walking back to save. I think Dragus might be going and looting the rest of Eblin Cave in the hopes of finding some more equipment that Zoe did not feel they needed, or Zoe did not feel Ver needed. Be needed, sorry.
And looks like V's going with the same Blink and Berserk Rosa strat. And V did use Star Veils on Yang, so reflected one onto Ashura, so she can't heal anymore.
Yep, it's going to go and be pretty safe. That Ashura, I think, is going to not do much damage to Rosa, as Rosa does have the Rune Ring, which will double Rosa's defense against mages, and Rosa's in the back row, which will go and double her defense anyways, and being in the back row halves the accuracy of attacks against non-long range attacks. So Rosa's in a pretty safe position, though if Rosa takes 1 or 2 hits, she might go and take a good chunk of her health, but she still doesn't even have 400 HP yet. Zoe is not interested in taking any other actions with any other character. Nice 2400 hit from Rosa on that. Young, unfortunately, going down, but Zoe only cares about Rosa surviving this fight and Tella being around to cast Blink to make sure Rosa survives the fight.
Yeah, it's too bad Ashura's reflected life spells can't go on the knocked out characters, and instead only hit characters who are fully alive and thus cannot take advantage.
Yeah, it is interesting that the enemy scripts are set up to reflected spells just will not target a dead character. Probably meant to go and keep things interesting, where if your Magus Sisters fight is going on and you have Sid and Yang and Tella down while Cecil's fighting, it's a lot less scary if there's a 1 in 4 chance of actually getting hit by those reflected spells rather than it being guaranteed.
Yes, and I'm not an expert on the vanilla game, having not played through the whole thing, but I don't know if the devs also considered being able to reflect a character who can cast life.
Yeah, but either way, Ashura's not going to get any more chances as Ashura is crumbling. Meanwhile, Dragus Cloud is going back up Mount Ordeals, and I'm guessing we're going to see some more Siren fights here. Zoe is through to the underground at just about 45 minutes. Might not feel like they're in the lead, as the seed has been crushing and just hurting these runners at every moment.
Well, top of Tower's free.
And taking the opportunity to say, oh, hey, remember that overworld that had Plague, Ogopogo, uh, Golbez, Mom Bomb. How about you have this nice free top of tower fight? You want to go and get this fight up?
Yeah, yeah. Knowing Zoe, I would not be surprised to see Keela's tower from her. Knowing that that fight is up at the top there.
Yeah, Zoe's had like a long stretch of having to go and just grind through a bunch of fights. I think the Ashura fight is probably one of the easiest fights she's had this entire time. And maybe Zoe wants to go and save that relaxation later, as Zoe is going straight to Dwarf Castle. And finds another rude fight. Only a temporary reprieve from the main fights, not like a full reprieve. The Siege just, it wants to make sure we appreciate the free fights when we get them, and thus spaces them out far and few between. Answer your question from chat. Yes, it was Evil Wall at the Calcabrina spot. It's gonna punch hard because that spot punches hard, and it's not gonna be terribly nice. Does see Sorcerer Ropes for sale if Zoe wants to go and purchase any. Meanwhile, Dragus is going and doing some sign grinding on ordeals, trying to get to that Rydia up, it seems. I mean, Harumph, we might go and have something like a Legend Sword at the top of the tower so we can go and get Forge and find a shop filled with things we can't afford.
Tomra's selling Odin's. That's not a summon you want for Rydia.
No, the Odin summon is horrendously low accuracy as it starts around. I don't even know how low the accuracy is. I just know I can never rely on it to hit anything. And it only works on non-boss bit enemies. So
Yeah.
unless you were looking for a very desperate gold dragon grind, you kind of just leave Odin alone. But while Zoe is shopping and Dragus is grinding, I would like to take this moment to shout out our Restream backup team. We have Harumph, who is doing the tracking, and Dishmu, who is our restreamer. Thank you to both of them for going and helping us put on a show. And also thank you to my co-commentator, Dijon Ketchup, for joining me on comms.
Yeah. And thanks to my co-commentator, Baka Shinobi.
But with that, let's get back to the action as Zoe is going down the path to Feymarch, looting chest and finding the trap chest in the third chest. So, going to be able to loot all of this path to Feymarch if Zoe desires.
Yeah, this flag set has a lot more looting. Because you can't sell things and you can't get money, so...
And it's T-Pro, so you're not as likely to go and get good stuff in general, so you need to open more boxes. As we mentioned, T-Pro is a location-weighted flag, so locations that have trap chests or are out of the way or are further into the game tend to have stronger equipment than the early locations, which is why there wasn't a lot of looting in some of the overworld's locations, but there is a lot more looting going on now.
Gaia Drum's nice.
Gaia Drum is definitely a nice thing to go and pick up, as it's AoE damage, and this team Rydia is the best source of it, and I don't think Zoe's Rydia is very high level at all.
I mean, I think at this point, Tella's a better... There's a lot of charms in this seed.
The Sea thinks it's very charming. We'll have to go and ask our runners if they agree.
Oh, but there's the free Earth Crystal.
There is a party rock, so we might be able to find a character who can equip some nice weaponry other than Yang and Rosa with a samurai bow being the main source of damage. Diamond Ring is an important piece of gear because with all these mages, yeah, you kind of want to go and keep the Diamond Ring on someone. And this equipment that, well, everyone in this party can equip. It is probably one of the best piece of arm equipment to have. Unless you're young, and then that strength ring is great because, as the name suggests, it gives +5 strength.
And Dragus Cloud has made it up to the Baron Guards fight.
Meanwhile, Zoe has found the last mage fight of the Magus sisters sitting at the Ashura spot, and Bahamut is sitting at the Leviathan spot. Bahamut might be, in some ways, is considered free.
Yeah,
Also,
not abuse levels, but
depending on how many star veils you're willing to burn, you might be able to get through it. To satisfy, the strength ring is +5, and the Zeus Gauntlet is +10 strength. I mistakenly thought the Zeus Gauntlet was +15 strength earlier, but it is very hefty. It is a very hefty boost. But Zoe is very diligently going and checking all of the freebies available to her. While Dragus is going to go and have a time. Dragus is going putting Tella in the center slot. I have a suspicion that Tella is going to be used to... Yeah, we have Blink on Rosa. So Tella is going to probably be trying to cast Stone and take out these guards that way.
yep, there's that keyless tower coming up.
And looks like Zoe is choosing to leave Rydia down, not going to go and be relying on Rydia for, well, anything other than anchoring. The Rydia is going to be higher and higher agility now, thanks to being 6 levels higher than her base starting level of 1. But Dragus did land the stone with Tella and is now at the Ashura fight, heading back to the save, and we'll see how Dragus is going to go and approach this fight. Is higher level than Zoe, but does have the samurai bow, so, and does have mute arrows, so Rosa
Mute arrows.
Rosa is probably going to be doing some damage now, I think.
Yep, and King Queen Evelyn conveniently just sent Ashura over to Dragus Cloud's screen.
It's like Tetris Attack, where you go and send your bosses to your opponent. Only you already had to fight those bosses to send them there. What kind of FE mode would it be where you could go and beat bosses and send them to your opponent?
Final Fantasy IV 99.
99 runners enter. One runner leads the champion. The rest of them go and say, you know what? I'm happy to have gotten knocked up by that wyvern in the 6th round. Yoga Pogo in the 12th was awful.
Come on, Squinix and Nintendo. Do it, you cowards. Anyway, John Goodman is conscious now.
And decided, you know what? I have better things to do with my time than actually throw these piddly fire 2s. I'm going somewhere else. I already sent my boss on vacation.
Sorry, your son is not here, though we wish he was. Oh, that's nice.
That could be pretty helpful. That's a darkness crystal. That is access to the moon. And more importantly, access to a character on the lunar dais who might not be a white mage or Yang. Or Rydia.
I mean, Rydia's kind of a white mage. She's still young.
I mean, Brittany, she learns a bit of white magic. She goes and has some stuff going for her. But, yeah, this is team what's damage.
We know where Sylph is.
I'm going to point out that both of our runners have opted not to purchase that Sylph as a, maybe we're not quite that desperate for damage.
Yeah. I mean, it's not cheap. That's for sure.
It is 20,000 gold, though. Zoe may be more inclined to purchase that, well, anything, now that Zoe has access to darkness crystals, sirens, and I believe hourglasses have been found as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Go to the power play and do pink puffs.
Or you could do the experience power play and do gold dragons on the moon. Oh, excuse me, King Ryu's. I keep forgetting that they're not. I played the DS version once and they were called gold dragons there and thought, oh, that makes a lot of sense because they're yellow, and the other ones are called silver dragons because they're gray. And I've never gotten that back out of my head. But Zoe is choosing to go straight up to the moon, not even going to Fabul. Well, not going to Fabul yet. Wait, going to be saving here outside of Mysidia. Go to Fabul, see if Sheila has anything interesting, and then go up to the moon.
Our restreamer Dishmu pointing out Kinryu is what they're called. Kin meaning gold and Ryu meaning dragon. So, yay, Final Fantasy 4 US translation. It's like, I don't know what this means. We'll just call it King Ryu.
Yep. Close enough. Yes, to answer a question from chat, Dragus found a curse ring early on in Watery Pass. Zoe did not choose to loot Watery Pass, instead looting Evelyn Castle. I believe that Evelyn Castle gave Zoe a samurai bow that Dragus Cloud has picked up only recently.
Scala chiming in that Gin is silver. Save us, Dead Woolsey.
It's, I am kind of impressed that didn't go and get... Maybe they didn't want to go and translate it directly because they didn't want to go and have red dragon, gold dragon, blue... Or, they had red and blue dragons. They didn't want to have silver and gold dragons as well. But, makes a lot more sense as to what they are. That's a cane!
You can finally use that white spear.
We finally have a character who can use a weapon that's not a bow. Who's getting the boot?
Vitella.
Tella's getting the boot. Meanwhile, Ashura is crumbling. All of Dragus' team is alive for this. Everyone's going to be inexperienced, but Dragus is getting underground at just about 59 minutes, about 14 minutes behind Zoe. I expect Dragus is not terribly pleased with the outcome of this turn of events, but this team did not treat Dragus kindly at all.
Yeah, definitely not a kind seed to anyone.
I mean, it's the kind of seed we like to see. Very entertaining.
Yeah.
But Zoe is going into Cave Bahamut to peek this boss and is finding a Lunar Sparkle who is... Have we seen Paildim? Because we've seen Plague, we've seen Dean Lunars, and we've seen Ogopogo.
I don't believe we've seen Paildim.
That's one of two things. It's either Wyvern, who is probably a slightly weaker that spot because the magic power there is rather low, or it's Paildim, who's really mean there because the physical attack power is really high. There is also...
Either way, Zoe does not want to fight it.
Zoe is deciding, I have fun, stay right there. I'll come back if I ever feel the need to find, experience more suffering that this early game hasn't given me already.
Looks like Zod is on the table for Zoe next.
We do have an Earth Crystal. It is also called the Party Rock because the shots are two characters, but Zoe is choosing to go somewhere else first, it seems. Zoe has remembered that there's still the Sheila 1 turn-in to do.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about it, too.
I mentioned it after Zoe came underground, but I forgot that Zoe hadn't done it at this point either, so good on Zoe for remembering that.
That's why Zoe is running this and we're not.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's a legend sword.
That is objective number 1 complete.
Why Sheila had that, who knows, but...
Look, Sheila lost her spoon. It was stolen by the... I believe it was the Antlion Cave that had that spoon. Which in other versions of the game is called a kitchen knife, so... That is a thing. But we are now either we're either 2 key items away or a key item and a boss hunt away from Go mode on Zoe's side.
Look, Baka, there's one thing that you have to remember. There is no spoon.
Raise that treasury!
As we can see from our lovely community, we have the meme of Rate the Treasury. This is T Pro. Has a chance of going and giving tier 7 items. 1% chance per chest. But it's also T Pro, so there's a good chance of it being all complete and utter garbage. Let's see what we get.
Hope you like apples, because there's a few of those.
Dragon Shield, I'm okay with the Lilith Rod that we already sent away. Free Siren is nice. Dragoon Armor. Cat Claw, we got Yang, that's a good item. Poison Claw, good enough. Ninja Sword, if we find an edge. Kamikaze, it's T Pro, all right.
That was a treasury that happened.
I mean,
I think my rating on it depends on if we find edge or not.
the mean-tier part of me wants to go and say maybe Toria could get nicknamed Poria for that, but you know, maybe it's a little mean. It is T Pro. Cat Claw is probably one of the bigger hits in there. The Free Siren is also a pretty big hit because 4,000 gold is... It's a little annoying to come by.
Sirens are nice. I believe there was some Dragoon stuff in there too.
And Dragoon equipment for that cane that we just got, that's, you know, we can go and put heavy armor on someone and not rely on diamond bracelets for our defense.
Oh, looks like no flame dog.
Zoe probably does not wish to spend any additional time doing, well, anything if Zoe can avoid it.
Yeah, he probably still thinks that B's behind, and I mean after the beginning of this seed, you know, I wouldn't blame her for thinking that.
Yeah, there's no time in the seed where you think I'm ahead, despite Zoe having a 14-minute lead underground.
Well, that's an octopus.
Octoman, one of the few bosses in the game that is strong and resistant to holy damage.
You know, like the White Spear does.
Yeah. Yeah, that's game's rude.
Yeah, we finally get a chance to use it, and it's like, no.
First boss to use White Spear on, half damage, go. But it looks like Zoe is just mostly interested in putting the lightning arrows on Rosa and giving Rosa back the samurai bow so that Rosa can go and say, please do lots of damage.
Probably got a berserker, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he only had 2 lit arrows left. And if you berserk, you don't lose that last arrow.
Yeah, so you can go and, that is referred to the berserk glitch because as long as it's set up properly, it can't actually go and update your last item because, well, the last item in your inventory is a little bit or the last arrow is different from all the other arrows in the sense that it actually changes your equipment. In order to change your equipment, you need to get your turn back and process an action. If you're berserked, it doesn't count as your turn coming up. It just says, oh, this person has an action. This person is berserked. They attack. They'll keep shooting arrows. And they will never go and be able to say that that arrow has gone from 1 to 0.
Oh, this is a unique circumstance on Dragus Cloud's side.
Dragus is going and dealing with the inventory boss in their own way. They're going and giving items to the Fat Chocobo. It is not very often we see this come up because, well, it does take time, and the only way to go and get to the Fat Chocobo is either with a whistle, a Geisel Green, and a Chocobo Forest, also known as a carrot in this version, or with the big whale. Well,
Tell
if you didn't get the mandatory Tella at Baron Inn, which had the hook, which is the only way underground to get this Earth Crystal, you can find your other Tella here. This is one of the 3 duplicates we have in the seed.
We also learn that Odin is in the Golbez spot. Hey, there's an edge. But yeah, Odin at Golbez in Dwarf Castle.
And it's a good character as well because they're a melee fighter. They can actually do damage. We have a ninja sword for this edge. And we do have no duplicates turned on, so if you have taken a character before and you get the chance to recruit them again, they show back up. Oh. That edge with a whopping 112 attack power, that is... What fox are we going to find here that lets us not take advantage of the 112 attack power?
Oh, hey!
Oh, wow.
I know you.
Well, Zoe is now 1 key item away from Go mode. It is either the Twin Harp or the Pink Tail, and we still have a key item to get here. So, Dragon's coming up to this Earth is going to be very good because Dragus will be able to get an edge, though I don't think Dragus looted the treasury, so may not have...
I think I just saw him do the treasury.
So Dragus does have the ninja sword. Might be inclined to take that edge because Edge is a solid melee fighter, especially when we have one of those high-powered ninja swords. And we'll be getting this Baigen shortly, so both our runners are 1 key item away from Go mode.
That Baigen is... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to mention that Dragus does not have the Darkness Crystal from the top of tower that Zoe does. So Dragus will need to go and get that, or find the pass to get to Zeromus.
Which, as probably know, could be here. And we need to go somewhere else. The key item that we need. Yeah, that Baigen was hitting pretty hard, but Zoe has made it through.
That's definitely an advantage for Zoe, because Dragus is just getting into the Octoman fight now, and does not have the Cane from the Moon either.
Which makes sense, having not gotten the Darkness Crystal.
Yes. Does have a Thunderclaw for Yang, so Yang is going to do solid damage. But what is the key item from this Earth Crystal?
I mean, that would have been nice for the fight if you could use the White Spear.
It is technically better than the White Spear overall because it has better accuracy than the White Spear for the cost of 1 attack power.
This is also true. And you don't really have to worry about anything resisting it.
Yep. Though the White Spear has the advantage of air, being the air element, or more to the point, exploiting extra damage on anything that is floating.
Oh, but good thing you can easily swap weapons in any
Indeed.
battle.
Yep.
And Zoe's next move is to dive into the Luca cave.
While Dragus right behind Zoe in this clearing out Zot. One advantage of Luca Cave is that you can go and see the key item before you go and have to fight the boss. And if it is nothing, you can just simply reset out. And we do not have any boss hunts left, as Demas has already been found and Baigan has been defeated.
Yep. So if Zoe doesn't want whatever item is there, just reset, and it's like it never happened.
That said, we have a lot of key items that Zoe is probably want to keep. We have the Baron key, we have the Tower key, we have the Pan. Then we just have straight up the Twin Harp or the Pink Tail. That would be, go mode for Zoe.
We had Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man over on Dragus' side for a moment.
Tello going and asking if he wants to join the party, and instead getting the boot.
Actually, Dragus still had Tella, so he didn't get asked if he wanted Tella. He just got asked if he wanted Edge, which he kicked Tella out for. Siren is nice, but not really worth all that, I don't think.
It's hard to go and suggest it's worth even walking out when you can buy them for 4,000 gold in Eblin.
Like, money's tight, but
Ain't that tight. And Zoe is going to Dwarf Castle next. We know it's going to be Evil Wall into Odin.
if only V had leveled up Viridia to use Indira.
I mean, I don't know. Zoe has late arrows and might just simply rely on.
I mean, I'm mostly joking.
Okay. And the spot has it does punch hard, and it has completely pathetic magic power. But you also have an edge with a longsword and a ninja blade. That might do a decent amount of damage already. Indra on Dragus' side is doing a decent amount of damage, almost 1,000 damage to every part, and taking down all of the arms. Meanwhile, we see the rude punches from Evil Wall coming out, doing 600 damage to that front row edge.
Oof.
Oof. Just took out that Rosa who had just berserked herself.
Yang takes the time to knock Rydia down.
And Edge cues up to throw the spoon and is immediately punched down. Zoe going straight back into this.
Yeah, Evil Wall, kind of a nasty physical attacker.
But that is objective 4 complete for Dragus, and Dragus getting the defense sword for Kane he doesn't have yet, but maybe getting soon.
We'll see if he does Dwarf or Keyless Tower.
Might be going
Or
down and
gotta get a Forge first.
probably wants to forge, see what's in the shop. I don't know if Zoe has gone and probably hasn't gone and done forge just because
I don't believe he has.
yeah, Zoe doesn't have much money and might want to wait to go to the shop until after. Maybe you do a gold dragon grind on the moon and try and pick up some money there and then come to the shop. Wow, that's
There's a Leviathan.
there's a white spear in there as well and a life staff, and I didn't quite catch the fourth item because I was a little bedazzled by white spear, light staff, and Leviathan summon.
I saw what it was, but now I can't remember.
I saw it wasn't one of those things, and I was very attracted to the first 3 items. And Dragus is coming into Dwarf Castle just behind Zoe as well, not going down and scouting that Luca Cave, so might go and get closer to the final objective if Dragus skips this Dwarf Castle. Do you want Forum back? No.
Nah,
No, you never want Forum back.
I'm good, fam. There's a Zeus Rage in Zoe's inventory, and I think he also has some more rages.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Odin is just going straight to town on Rosa, hitting Rosa twice. And just, yeah, there's the Throw Rage potentially coming out. Might be able to do enough to finish off this Odin.
Not a lot of HP because vanilla scripted slot.
Yep. And yes, it is Golbez. It's not supposed to be that much of a fight, but enough of a fight for Radiant to make her dramatic entrance back to the team, all grown up, and show off all those new spells she learned.
And just making timelines even more confusing.
Yep, because apparently time can flow differently in different parts of the world.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a go mode.
Oh my, I was slightly distracted. Yeah, that Pinktails, that's go mode. That is, Zoe has the distinct edge here, as Dragus still needs to get the Darkness Crystal that Zoe already has from top of tower.
Well, I mean, both of them took the edge. But...
Yeah, they also ninja'd some swords from him, too. So now the question is, what grind do you do in Zoe's if you're in Zoe's shoes? I don't know how much money Zoe has available, but how many key items do we have? Anyways, we have 7, 8.
Zeus Gauntlets was the other item in the shop.
Oh my god! I want to do Gold Dragons on the Moon to get money to buy that stuff, but that might be a little greedy.
Yeah, that once you're on the moon, you're not coming back without a pass.
Yeah. That,
So I know Zoe has a handful of sirens. Maybe Gold Dragon grind. I think we also have some hourglasses.
Yeah, if you have some hourglasses, Gold Dragon, like, especially with that Artemis arrow on Rosa and the Samurai bow, you can go and make short work of them. We can also see if this Pinktail gives a Dragoon Spear for Kain. We delayed as Zoe is getting her crystal now, and that I believe will put Zoe at 10 key items if I'm not counting incorrectly.
Oh, good, something for Edge to throw.
Exactly. Well, yeah, Zoe is going back to Evelyn with his hovercraft to go and purchase some sirens, I'm guessing, or some anything, maybe Bacchus as well. Zoe has a lot of options to purchase because there's a lot of good things in that shop. Meanwhile, Dragus also has that Pinktail and is going to go and be getting their crystal, but needs to find a way to Zeroma's that we know is at the top of that tower. And with the checks open to Dragus, Dragus might be inclined to run for that tower first, as it is probably the fastest check available to Dragus. Though Dragus does also have to check the Luca cave as well, so... yeah.
Yeah, he's spending most of her money on sirens and Bacchuses, which means probably not going to buy any Zeus Gauntlets.
Not unless they make the greedy play of going up to the moon, getting, killing some gold dragons in Cave Bahamut, and then coming back to the Earth to buy them. But again, I've said that's pretty greedy.
Nobody got time for that.
And Zoe is instead choosing to go and grind on dragon eggs on Earth, it seems.
Huh.
Which, dragon eggs are a bit faster if you can go and get the first shot off with Rosa. Artemis arrows are going to go and, as we saw, do very good damage against those dragon type enemies, and with that fortunately the agility situation for Zoe does not have Rosa taking the first action, which is slightly awkward. Yeah, 3200 per egg. If you can get Rosa's agility up enough to go and take the first turn, Rosa will be able to get the
Edge
good
was
levels.
down.
Yeah, looks like Zoe is not worried about leveling Edge, it seems.
Maybe trying to get the other characters' levels up since Edge starts a bit higher. I don't know. I have not actually seen what levels everyone's at.
Yeah, this is might not be counting on Edge in the final fight at all because Edge does not have any equipment. Well, it has those 2 swords, but doesn't have any defensive gear. And Edge does lag behind in HP growth. Might just think, all right, Edge is going to die anyways in this fight. Let's just take these 2 characters up who can go and get some better HP growth and go.
And maybe just rely on him to throw some things early on, like that X-Cal, and then call it a day.
Yeah. I mean, also, every level up message does take time, and you could be desperate to go and save time, as Dragus is going to the correct location to get to go mode. After this King Queen Evelyn fight, Dragus is going to hit Darkness Crystal and be in go mode.
Yeah, the gap is narrowing.
Dragus did go and dodge that walk down Luca Cave that Zoe did. Zoe also did Sheila 1, which Dragus is dodging, so Dragus is picking up time there. Dragus does still have to go through the big whale cutscene. And the character. Yep. We also don't know if Dragus is going to grind on Earth or is going to grind on the moon. Because maybe Dragus is going to hope to pick up an anchor as pretty as well leveled. Forum's pretty leveled. Tella is gone.
He did find the curse ring.
True. Yep, that's right. So you can go and just curse one of those characters. Probably curse Rydia of all of them. Maybe keep Forum and curse her.
Yeah, and Zoe revived Edge, so I think V was trying to get more levels on the others before lifting him up, since he's higher level.
Maybe we do have the no boost flag on, so characters who are 5 levels behind the median level will not gain bonus experience. But Zoe's got some pretty healthy looking HP on the rest of the party. Rose is at 2,000 HP. Yang is near 4,000. Kane is at close to 3,000.
Harump saying that the first ring might currently be held by the big chocobo.
But it's a little bit of a time loss for Dragus Cloud, but the big whale does have a big chocobo just sitting there on it. So
right.
Perfectly accessible to Dragus Cloud once he gets this Darkness Crystal. If this was the past, Dragus Cloud might be in a little bit more trouble.
I think that was Zoe's last siren.
I believe that is correct. And Dragus is taking Trap Chest Fight on the way down this tower. This is... Dragus is going to go and steal Sirens because maybe a little poor at the moment.
Not bad. He's got Forum. She can cry.
Yes, thanks to the code decompiling efforts of Accident, we have learned that if you cry with Porum, you increase Edge's chance to steal. Any of you who know the vanilla game can appreciate the absurdity of this because Edge and Porum are never designed to be in the same party at the same time.
Although he's not actually using cry, so may not know about it or just may not think about it because again, it's a not very intuitive thing.
It's not very intuitive, and it's just race situation. Let's go. Like, I need to get going. I need to do things. Yeah, it's just killing this thing off now. Not going for any more. Nice power punch from Yang for 6,800 damage. Has the Thunderclaw on, which exploits the machine weakness for those searchers. Life Staff is a nice pickup for Dragus. That's a plus 15 willpower staff.
Yeah. Obviously, not the intended behavior of Cry. It just, since they're never used at the same time, they overlap the value.
Yeah, Scarlet Kitty pointing out that Cry was supposed to make enemies run away, but that mechanic was dropped, and instead it just used the same memory value, because why would they be in the party at the same time, apparently?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Makes you wonder why they didn't just dummy it out.
might have been faster to not just to, not remove it. Or they probably don't want to leave Palom with a command and not give Porum one. And instead gave Porum one that did functionally nothing.
I mean, isn't the same crying animation used for when she's like at critical health?
No, it is actually a different animation, I think.
Oh, well, there you go.
Maybe it is actually. You have to go and double check all the sprite sheets. Because Kane has an animation that isn't used. It's his right, yes. She does have the unique animation because when she jumps using the Cry sprite.
Ah.
Just like Kane has a casting animation that we never see because Kane gets no spells. But Zoe is going and doing her final equipping, and we're getting close to seeing a certain someone.
Is it me?
Well, unless you turn on a webcam and take over the stream, I don't think it's going to be you.
I am not free streaming, so I cannot do that.
I mean, I'm sure you can work something out with Dishmu, but I think these flags in chat are suggesting some other option.
I bet there are less rude flags than these.
Yeah, that's true. None of these say Cell Zero, none of these say T Pro, none of these go and say no duplicates. They all say Z instead, which perhaps you're referring to the Zeromus flag, or these the Zeromus fight, the Z flag of old, from where we don't let Zeromus keep his vanilla looks because, well, we don't move him around. He's a bit too mean, he's a bit too complicated, and he's a bit too generally awful to let out of his lunar core, and, we want to go make sure the final fight's climactic. But we don't want to make sure it's boring. So instead, we randomize Zeromus' sprite after his true form is revealed by the crystal to be one of 527 different sprites. Whichever one we go and get today is going to be a surprise to us all. We do have a question to ask.
But who was phone?
That is certainly one way to phrase it. We're finding out now. Whose butt are we kicking?
It's Zoda.
Who's Zoda?
This is Zoda's real revenge. Zoda being like the final boss from Star Tropics.
I have never played Star Tropics, so that is new to me. Thank you for telling me.
I'm helpful.
You're always helpful. You're helping me behind comms all night.
Yay.
But Dragus is getting to the mood. I don't think they've done any of their grind yet, though. They're getting this cane, which they may choose to take because they have a defense sword and a white spear. So those items might be back on the ship.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, those items are probably out on the ship. Dragus is Dragus is in the 30s. Dragus needs to do a grind and get some levels. Unfortunately, Zoe is in the Zeromus fight and looks to be doing pretty decent damage. May not go and have a... We got the first Big Bang coming out, which I believe has been nerfed by a Silk Web from Edge. And that's only 1,000 damage. Yeah, that's a nerfed Big Bang. Or nerf Big Bang. Words are hard.
Words are hard. And darting that white spear.
Kane's got the defense sword, so we only need one weapon for Kane. We can throw the other one.
It'd be cool if there was like an April Fool's flag where you could dual wield. Unless there is one. I haven't played all of them yet.
I'm not going to go and say you should play the wacky flags from this year's April Fools, but I will suggest that the wacky flags from this year's April Fools do live up to that name of being wacky. Because if you are interested in this randomizer but think this looks really hard, good news. You can choose a lot of different flags and options. You can go and make the treasures more generous. You can make the shops more generous. You can make it so you can actually sell stuff to shops instead of being told, no, we're not giving you any money.
You can turn it into a Batman comic from the 60s.
Yes. The point of the matter is, if this looks interesting to you, there's a lot of ways to play, and it's not just how our runners currently are. And Edge goes down, Rosa doesn't, Kane and Yang are still up strong, and Rosa, I think, has a Cure 4 queued up, so Zoe is through the second Big Bang without too much issue.
And it does look like Dragus Cloud is farming King Ryu's.
Which those Armisaurs are going to do a good job at. That's quadruple damage against dragons. That's Life 1 coming out for the Life Glitch, where if you cast Life 1 on a normal enemy, it will attempt to revive. But the way the Life spell works is it gives you HP back equal to 5 times your Vitality stat. Monsters have a 0 Vitality stat, so they just instantly die. But they're alive long enough for the game to say, oh, this enemy died an extra time. Let's give extra rewards for this.
Things going smoothly on Zoe's side. Just staying berserk, letting... Oh, we got rocks.
That's the last 12,000 HP of Zeromus' script. We are very likely in the final phase of this fight, and Zoe has definitely had a solid run of this seed. This seed was really mean to Zoe, and Zoe got through it very gracefully. A 14-minute lead underground is definitely translated into a very solid performance by Zoe, as Zoe takes the second win of this series of 2 games and gets the 2 wins she needs to advance to the next stage of brackets. GG's to Zoe.
And I'm sure pretty shortly we'll get her in here.
Yes, that is, I believe we're joined by ZoeVermilion now. GG, Zoe. That, see, that seed was so kind to you, wasn't it?
Nailed it.
You already got it yesterday.
Yeah, that was not as rude as yesterday, and I kind of lucked into the way to get through a lot of it, and I feel pretty good about that.
The seed certainly didn't seem very lucky from where I was sitting, as you had to try and deal with Plague on Mount Hobbs to get Rosa with a team that could barely do any damage. Then you got that rude Mom Bomb at Baron Inn, who was going and just punching all of your team as you still struggled to do much damage. How were you feeling throughout most of the fights in that overworld?
I felt rough. They felt rough. Taking the wipe to the Plague, taking the wipe to the Mom Bomb. I don't know what it is about Mount Hobbs, but we've annoyed the god that lives there between me and Dragus, and Rosa is constantly guarded by bosses that we shouldn't be taking early in the game. But no, aside from the wipes, I felt the way that I ultimately ended up getting through the fights was nice, and I wasn't sure if Dragus was going to be able to either find the items needed, because I needed all those kamikazes for Plague and lucked into those illusions for the Mom Bomb. But I think the MVP of this seed was the Elven Bow that I bought on a whim, which allowed me to get through that hook route, even though I did take a wipe to the guards the first time. That I can't imagine how our party gets through that without an Elven Bow.
That was certainly a rude fight. Dragus got through that by using Stone on Tella that had to center slot Tella and had extra levels so Rosa and Porm could cast Link on Tella. Which you were quite low level going into that hook route, to be entirely honest. What drove you away from taking any of those trap chests to try and get more experience?
I didn't have any hourglasses.
That makes sense.
So, like, I had obviously a rune ring and I had an Elven Bow, which could have facilitated the Mad Ogre chest, but they would have been punching in just a battle of attrition to try and kill them while also getting life potions up. Even with like Tella with size, I felt a little behind at the time, just from how rough the overworld was. And so I was like, okay, I know I can get through this Asura if I, get a little bit of nice RNG and I get a couple blinks up. Let's see what's here at King Queen, and that'll determine whether or not I need to either take some random encounters or go back for that trap chest. Fortunately, it was something that the Elven Bow also was useful for.
Yeah, that bow and arrows certainly did a lot of work through that seed with between the Artemis arrows and that Elven Bow, as you mentioned purchasing. You did say you purchased on a whim. What were your biggest driving decisions for purchasing that Elven Bow?
So we started off with a way more generous money kit this time. We had like 70-something thousand. And so I knew that I was going to be a bit more splurgy. And when I saw the Elven Bow, I was thinking, all right, cool. Like, I've got some decent arrows, but I don't have mute arrows. So I had walked away initially just thinking, oh, I'll find mute arrows. Then I doubled back and went, but if I don't, I should go ahead and just buy this in case I come across like a nasty Maga Sisters, Asura, or Baron Guards. And yeah, that was really the end of it. I wasn't going to at first. And then I was like, let's grab it. We can spare the 10,000.
Yeah, I think you found a samurai bow earlier than Dragus did. I think Dragus eventually found it, but didn't have it nearly as early as you did, which carried a large part of your early game. And you surprised us by being the one who purchased the Elven Bow while Dragus packaged it up.
Yeah, I normally, like, regardless of the size of the money kit, I typically don't do much shopping in this flag set. But second day in a row, a party that can't really do a lot of damage, I was looking for every little bit I could get. Couldn't find many vampires to try and maybe buy for those, but just getting a couple good weapons would have been nice. I was still kind of looking for a Poison Claw or a Thunder Claw. I never found one until I hit the Poison Claw and Cat Claw in the treasury, which was nice. Honestly, up until the point that I saw that cane, I had no idea what I was going to do for Zeromus. So I was like, oh, I can just grind my way through this game using, Artemis arrows, but what do I do for Zeromus? Because I wasn't going to level my Rydia because I hadn't found a curse ring. And so I saw the cane and I was like, okay, cool. I can go double White Mage, double Zerker. And then I saw the edge and went, okay, well, now I have a spoon and I can dart that. And fortunately, even though I couldn't back row him to actually Zerk him, that spoon's what got me through the evil wall to get the pink tail. So I felt that was a good use.
I'm going to agree that evil wall could be pretty rude, and just chucking the spoon there to make forward progress. If you didn't get anything interesting from that dwarf castle, were you planning on just resetting out to keep the spoon?
Absolutely. My fingers were already on my my reset button, and I was just waiting to press it, and then I saw pink tail and went, oh, that's go mode. Never mind.
Yeah, that's definitely not something you want to go and just carelessly throw away. But yeah, you came into this set down one game, and you went 2-0 in this set to come out with a win. How are you feeling?
A bit in disbelief. The fact that I'm going to go the round of 16 to play either Infinius or Oscar Edwin. Infinius is a good friend of mine. Shoutouts to Team Centaur. Oscar Edwin, I don't know him that well, but I do know that I've got a bit of a vendetta, considering how his match with Syl went in Swiss. Syl's very dear to me. So one way or the other, it'll be a rivalry or it'll be a friendly 3-game set. I'm just excited to actually get a proper 3-game set and not have to, play out of my gourd for 2 straight races and hope to win both.
But it's worked so well for you.
It worked great, but as I said during my interview yesterday, it requires the seed to cooperate with me, and this seed cooperated with me, even if it didn't look like it. Putting Asura and Baron Guards there was the biggest piece of cooperation I could have asked for.
You definitely did go and have a distinct advantage with that hook route, as Dragus had a hard time getting through a lot of the overworld, and then that hook route slowed him down a bit more, which did very much so work out in your favor. So GG's on that, and just leveraging all you knew about the game to make it through all those rough checks early.
Oh yeah, I think the moment I'm proudest of, and it's such a small thing, but and it ultimately didn't end up mattering too much, was taking that random encounter on ordeals to mute my party for Golbez, because I was like, oh, I don't have Size or Piggy yet. Do I have mute? I do have mute, but I have to be in battle for it. Oh crap. So that was a fun piece of tech that I only learned recently, that mute also stops the paralysis. So that was fun.
Yeah,
I
that
see
was
that.
a pretty neat little play.
Yeah, that's a very heads up play. I thought you were going to go and grind a couple levels on Rydia to get her Piggy, but mute was definitely the more elegant solution to that.
Yeah, like Piggy may be the right call, but ultimately I ended up not wanting the levels on Rydia anyway, so that worked out in my favor.
Yeah, no, that's definitely it definitely worked out better for you because you let you preserve Rydia as an anchor better. You didn't have to go through the fight itself, which saved you time. Running was definitely much faster than completing it. And seeing, I don't remember what level Rydia gets Piggy, but I imagine it might have taken more than one fight. So
Yeah,
definitely a very nice play.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the low to mid teens if I remember correctly, but asking me to remember correctly spell list is not good. I am going to give us music here, but before music, there's going to be a little special surprise.
Oh, I'm
Oh.
curious. But while we're waiting for our surprise, Dijon, do you have any questions for Zoe?
No. I mean, can always ask her later if I can think of anything.
Entirely fair. I was going to ask if you could still go and get polymorphed by the mages in Mysidia.
Oh,
And
Baka,
thank you for answering.
did you not watch my race yesterday? I did that mid race on accident.
I didn't get to see it. There were so many races going on yesterday.
That was a nice callback for those that enjoyed it yesterday. I thought I would do it again, but I decided not to do it and lose time this time.
I mean, here's the niche tech. You go and do that when you need to get through a Golbez, and you don't have access to mute. That might.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like Golbez or at Ordeals 1, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to the Mysidian dancer and get piggied, 100%. But
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was saying, when I was new to Free Enterprise, and of course hadn't played the vanilla game, I was talking to NPCs and accidentally did that and was like, what do I do?
That is definitely one thing that I would encourage new players to do. Even if you played a lot of vanilla, if you're new to Free Enterprise, talk to the NPCs. I don't know if it's every NPC, but the majority of NPCs have had their dialogue changed. And there's a lot of there's a lot of helpful tips for Free Enterprise in there, as well as some good jokes and memes. But that's gonna be it for me. It looks like Dragus took an unfortunate wipe. Oof. That our party is not well equipped for Zeromus, so I'm not honestly too terribly surprised. But I'll see y'all next week. Round of 16. Got to figure out how to do that and move in the same week. Woo!
Best of luck to you, Zoe. That's that's definitely a real challenge. But you've definitely shown to be a runner-up to that challenge. GG's again.
It worked out well for Dusty during 3 miss, so I figured I would just do that.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Just steal Dusty Strat.
Exactly, just stealing Dusty Strats. Anyway, y'all have a great night. Dijon, you're cute.
Wow. You
didn't even give you a chance to respond, just complimented and ran.
Yeah, wow. I'm gonna DM her. Grumble.
But speaking of rumbling, Dragus is back into the Zeromus fight after taking an unfortunate wipe on the first attempt, and is unfortunately out of the tournament after having the one game advantage. But Zoe just putting on a strong showing for for races. It is you don't beat a player like Dragus Cloud by just getting lucky. You have got to go and play well. And Zoe played very well in this seed, just getting through that rude overworld, going and finding the little places V could go and chip through or break open a seam and get through, getting through that mom-bound fight faster, getting going a little bit faster thanks to that samurai bow early, and just keeping moving.
Taking the edge dart strats as well. That spoon went out.
Yeah, getting that early damage in. You want to go, and what Dragus Cloud is doing here is referred to as reflex strats, as Zeromus is the final boss, and as I mentioned, he's a little complicated because he has 100,000 HP. Except he can't have 100,000 HP because the maximum value for HP is somewhere in the 60,000s. Actual value is around 61,000, I believe. And the way the developers get around this is after you do 45,000 damage, the next time you do direct damage to Zeromus, it counterattacks with reach filling all of its HP, so it goes back up to full. You can get around this by going and reflecting spells after that point, or if you're like me and not necessarily interested or very good at keeping count of damage, just not do direct damage after a certain point and reflect spells, which will bypass counters and allow you to go and just do 21 or the 61,000 damage to Zeromus to finish him off.
The fun of developers working around limitations of the system and then players exploiting those limitation workarounds.
Yeah, not being interested in playing fair is kind of, that's what the player's job is. The developers make the game and then the players try and break it.
And that's how speedrunning was invented.
Playing fair is for suckers.
I mean, why do you think Game Genie existed all those years ago?
I don't know, I never actually used one. I was too cheap for that. Here's the second Big Bang coming out, and well, Yang's up, Rose is up, the person with the wall is down, but Gear 4 is going to go and heal up this party, and going to go and get Forum up as well. I think we're going to go and see a Black Hole. Yep, there's a Black Hole coming out, going to go whip any buffs anyways, so need to go and reapply a wall, and you're going to need to start throwing those whites and nukes again after Forum and maybe Rydia also come back up. Yeah, there's a second Star Veil on Rosa. There is white coming out from Porum. Yang is getting up edge, it seems. But more ways coming out. We've done a good chunk of damage so far, so definitely going and making progress in this. We're getting close to the end. These reflex strats are they're a bit scary because they're pretty much a damage race. You're trying to go and do the 61,000 damage to Zeromus before you get too many of these big bangs, because as you've noticed, mages like Porum and Rydia don't have a lot of HP, and they're not going to go and do a good job at surviving and standing up to damage. So you want to go and end this as fast as you can. And unfortunately, White's a little bit of a slow spell to cast because Nuke is a vastly preferred spell because it's faster. But Dragus finishes off Zeromus with a reflected virus from Zeromus himself.
That is some swag right there.
That is a Zeromus kill to go and appreciate. That's a swag kill. GG to Dragus, who has finished with an official time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 22 seconds. GG's, Dragus. They have declined an interview, so we'll just be wrapping up as this. I imagine Dragus, that was a mean seed. That's not something I can blame anyone for saying. No, I'm done. I'm just walking away from this. That seed was very rude. Zoe had to play very well to get through it at all. Both of our runners had to play well to get through it, and Zoe just was able to find seams faster than Dragus. So GG's to Dragus for putting on a great show for us.
GG.
And GG again to ZoeVermilion for being our winner and advancing to the round of 16. This was definitely... This was a race, a big grind of a race.
Absolutely. But I mean, you couldn't ask for more of a grand finish than Zeromus using Virus, reflecting 400-ish HP, and defeating himself.
Yeah, that is a finish to have. It's got to be frustrating to not have the white finish it off, but the Virus Reflect is just a memorable kill. But as we were wrapping up, let's give another shout out to our racers, Dragus Cloud and ZoeVermilion. Give them a follow, as we wouldn't have a show without them, nothing nearly as entertaining. And also give a follow and a shout out to our restreamer Dishmu619 and our tracker Harump, the Harump, excuse me. Both of them going and helping us keep track of the action and put a show on. And just letting us have a show. And thank you again to Bijan Ketchup for joining me on comms.
And thanks to Baka Shinobi for also doing the comms. For some reason, they keep putting us on the mic together. I don't know why they still let us do that.
Apparently they want us to just go and have some rather saucy commentary.
Maybe if they find a pan.
But as much as we like to catch up and keep moving, we're going to go and pass you all along to another race. We're going to send you on to the Aizen Tayama versus Apex Corvid race that is happening on Randomania 3. If you are going and joining this raid, please remember not to spoil the results of the race. That is, we have lots of people who like to go and be surprised by how these races, or by the results of these races, but feel free to tell anyone that it is a good one.
Yeah.
With that, have a great evening.